Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine, COO and co-founder of Hormona. We're empowering women to live better and healthier lives through taking control of our hormones with the help of AI and at-home testing. Hormonal health sits at the very center of women's health, and by 2025, hormonal health could be a $50 billion industry. But where are the unicorns? Today, 80% of all women suffer from hormonal imbalances, which in turn affect our cycles, fertility, and general well-being. By controlling the most essential body functions, our hormones play a key role in our overall health and affect us women on a daily basis throughout life. Our hormones are constantly changing and changing a lot, but who guides us through these massive hormonal changes? Who tells us if a change is expected, normal, or abnormal? Today, no one. But this is what we're on a mission to change. Hormona was created to empower women to live happier and healthier lives in harmony with her hormones. Our goal is to save millions of women the cost and pain of going through the same journey as our founder Carolina did, and to develop an affordable way for women to track and understand her hormones to allow for easier transitions through the various stages of a woman's life. The first part of our end-to-end solution is our app, which actually launched on the startup stage about an hour ago. And the app allows women like myself to, first of all, get a better understanding of my hormones. But it also allows me to track and monitor my hormonal symptoms, improve on said symptoms through 12-week action plans, and engage with other women in our community. Next up in the pipeline is our home hormone test, which is the first quantitative at-home hormone test testing the most essential biomarkers, which we feel is a very natural next step, complementing our existing digital solution. Our patent-pending test is very easy to use. You simply take it in the morning, once a week, and scan it with your mobile camera. And by testing regularly, we can help confirm if you are going into menopause, will have problems getting pregnant, or pick up any hormonal changes that may impact your life. The company is a result of my co-founder and our CEO, Carolina's personal struggle with health and well-being. I joined the team because of our long-lasting friendship and previous startup history. But we also have Max, our CTO, with over 15 years experience in building technical solutions. Adina, our CPO, specializing in growth and digital health products. Our gynecologist, Katarina, who was the first chief medical officer for Flow, the period tracking app. And our endocrinologist, Dr. Rocio Salas-Wallen, who is the ultimate hormone expert. And together we have over 25 years combined technical and medical experience. The global women's health market is substantial, and with hormonal health sitting at its center, and with 80% of women affected, the potential market is huge. Whenever we tell people what we do, they all ask, how does this not already exist? And we ask the same thing. So if not now, then when? Data is so desperately needed to improve women's health, as a prolonged gender data gap has meant that women's hormonal health has more or less been ignored. Hormonal health in itself is desperately underserved. And by being first movers in this space, we have the opportunity to claim an entire market that is currently completely untapped. We have the opportunity to contribute to narrowing the data gap in women's health and improve health outcomes for 50% of the world's population. Every single woman will be affected by her hormones, and it's time we stop ignoring that. Our business model is direct-to-consumer subscription, and our prices are based on in-depth customer research and interviews, but we also see a huge financial opportunity in working with clinics and digital health companies. So how will we go to market? Firstly, we will utilize our existing community of over 11,000 women and continuous organic growth, but we're also partnering up with both insurance and telehealth companies to quickly reach as many women as possible. We're right now in discussions with both a large telehealth company that sees over 1 million women a month and a large insurance company that has over 2 million female customers. We're currently raising £1.5 million, and we have a third of our round committed. So if anyone thinks this sounds interesting, please come find me after this. I'd love to tell you more. And now, feeling hormonal should be the start of a conversation, not the end. Join us on our quest to change the future of women's health. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for a great presentation. Love to see that you're building this. I'm a big fan of what you're doing, and I agree with you that it's a shame that nothing similar have been built before. So talking about your journey and building this unicorn, when you plan to sort of hire and attract top-tier talent, what are some of the thoughts you have on building culture and growing your organization?
It's a very good question. And I think obviously everyone wants to build a great organization where people want to stay and work and have a great work-life balance. At the stage we're in right now, we're just working really hard on getting this product to as many women as we can. But obviously hiring top talent is super important, and that's the best way for us to become the unicorn in hormonal health.
Hey, thanks for the great presentation, Yuri from Yes. Can you talk a little bit about the diagnostic test you're using and accuracy, specificity, sensitivity, so on?
Yeah, absolutely. So the test in itself, I guess the easiest way to describe it is similar to a pregnancy test. It's a mid-flow urine test, and the process of it and what's unique with what we're doing is that we don't have a separate hardware. Your mobile is actually the lab. So we've developed a software that reads the intensity of the test line that gives a quantitative test result. So we've cut out the lab, we've cut out the separate hardware, and it's a simple at-home urine test. And in terms of specificity and sensitivity, they're all about positive, enough positive corrects and enough negatives corrects. But our test always has a positive test line because that's how we measure it. Did that answer your question?
Thanks. I guess what I'm getting at is what exactly are you measuring?
Oh, we're measuring estrogen, progesterone, and FSH, which are the three main hormones to understand the women's hormonal health.
Cool, thanks.
You talk about the enormous data gap in women's health, which I think is indisputable at this point. And yet you also talk about helping women figure out what's normal or abnormal for them or expected. However, there's a tension there. If we don't have enough data about women, it's difficult to understand what normal is. How do you think about that problem?
No, of course. And I think part of what we want to do is obviously help narrow that gap so there isn't as much of a discrepancy. But with our test, a woman has to test for a minimum of 3 cycles. That way we establish what your normal is. And hopefully with that, we can then understand what the greater normal is. Because maybe we don't even know what the right normal is at the moment.
How often do women measure? Is it daily, once a week?
It's 4 times a cycle, so roughly once a week. It's the easiest way to describe it. So it's still very user-friendly. It's not something you have to do every single day, but we can still give you enough insights and predictions so that you know what's going on in your body at any one time and how you can optimize your life around that. No more questions? Thank you.
Okay, give us your pitch.
Hi guys, my name is Galliano and my company Boxable, we've created the only building system that is compatible with mass production. So what's the problem here? Well, it's housing affordability and availability. This is a huge problem all around the world. Why is that? Well, it's because we're not building houses the way we're building everything else. We're building them one at a time, slowly. All our other modern products use Henry Ford assembly line principles, and we mass produce them in the factory. For a bunch of reasons, building construction has failed to actually move into the factory. So at Boxable, we've gone through and fixed all those problems so that we can mass produce buildings just the way we build everything else. The initial innovation that we had to get going was to fix the shipping problem, because if it's too big to ship, then don't even bother building it in the factory. You're going to lose all your money shipping. So our product actually folds up to a highway legal load, and then it ships to site where it sets up in just an hour and everything's done. So after we solved the shipping problem, we moved on to other things to make the buildings more compatible with factory mass production. So that included changing all the materials used, all the engineering, all the different manufacturing processes. You can see right here our first product, the Casita. This is a 20 by 20 studio apartment that we are going to be shipping to California for $50,000. So to date, we've had a huge amount of traction. We have over $1 billion in pre-orders. We have a large government contract. And I just got back from Texas, where we installed a Casita for a very high profile and top secret customer. Fundraising has been good. We just did an initial crowdfund round where we did $1 million CF round, and we actually oversubscribed that round and ended up raising over $4 million. So the next step for us is a $50 million crowd offering, where we will use that money to build a real assembly line style mass production factory that produces between 3,000 to 5,000 of these Casitas per year. As soon as that's working, we're going to keep growing that to bring on partner factories to scale this all around the world very quickly. This is a huge opportunity. It is the last big pre-factory product that's out there. Happy to answer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michel, and CEO of CleverGig. And our software helps companies to easily manage their flexible workforce. Now, who of you, like me, has a child younger than 16 years of age? Wow, you guys have been busy. Can you imagine how the labor market will have evolved by the time they start their careers? I can tell you they will likely have multiple jobs at the same time and do projects and gigs to earn a living. And this might all seem quite far away, but it's actually already happening today. Ernst & Young recently released a report stating that in just 3 years from now, 50% of all workers will do some form of flexible labor or freelancing. And this is up from 20% today. And that same report concludes that companies are not ready for the so-called gig economy. Think about it. If more and more workers are working flexibly and have multiple jobs at the same time, this is going to dramatically increase the size of your workforce, and it's going to put enormous pressure on you to manage that team. Oh, and by the way, that software tool you're using right now, that expensive rigid system, it is just not going to do the job. And that's where CleverGig comes in. We are building a single platform that houses all the services you need to easily manage your flexible workforce. We connect workers, employers, and HR software developers into one environment where all data is securely stored in the cloud and accessible from any device. That sounds kind of fancy, but what does it actually mean? So let's take a use case. HR manager Joe, worker Laura. Joe is working at a construction company, logistics company, recently signed up a new client, and they have a big deal for him, and he needs 20 workers pronto. Laura, one of those workers, Joe, luckily is a customer with CleverGig, and he recently onboarded all his workers onto the platform. One of them is Laura, who created a profile in our app. Joe, then all he needs to do is send out that gig or that project, first of all, to his own pool of workers. Secondly, he can send it to temp agencies, which are connected to our platform. And thirdly, and most interestingly, he can send it to companies similar to Joe's that are willing to share their workers with Joe. Laura receives the notification, picks up the gig, accepts it, and Joe is able to pay Laura right through our platform via connected payroll firms. And with many more Joes on the platform, Laura has the freedom to do the kind of work she wants to do when she wants to do it. Now, we started this journey about a year ago, and I can tell you it's been quite a ride. We first put together our team, started working on the product, even raised $120K in pre-seed funding. And when we launched our product, we had real customers paying us real money. So we thought we had product market fit. But it turned out we didn't. So we had to go back to the drawing board. And after spending hundreds of hours with our workers, with our clients, with our advisors, we decided to make a pivot to the software as a service model. And this actually allows us to deliver a much more differentiated proposition with way better economics, because we can now charge a monthly recurring subscription fee. And in the last 6 weeks alone, since that pivot, we have been able to adapt the product, sign up our first clients with an estimated lifetime value of 35,000 euros, and today we have another 70K in our current pipeline. And where do we want to take this? We believe by the end of next year, we can sign up 100 clients, onboard 40,000 workers, and reach 800K in revenues. And we're looking to create a 2-year runway. For that, we need 2 things. First of all, we need a 400K seed investment, which we'll spend on improving the product and expanding the team. Secondly, we need advisors that share our vision and want to help us dominate the gig economy space. And this is the team that's going to make it happen. We have a proven track record in building and growing companies, even did our first exit. And if I had to sum us up in one sentence, I would say we're young enough to understand millennials, but mature enough to run a company. And besides the faces on the screen, we have a great development and design team over in Kiev who are actually watching now. So, to sum up, I'd like to remind you of the enormous opportunity that lies ahead. And we invite you to join us in shaping the future of labor. But more importantly, to shape the world that our kids will work in.
I'm Breno, and I will talk to you today about Social Bus. And first, I'll tell a story about Joe. Joe wakes every day early to avoid missing his company's shuttle bus. He waits in the snow for Adam to pick him up. Adam arrives with the shuttle van, and they go on their way and picks up the rest of their colleagues. But along the way, they face issues and eventually arrive late to work. While this happens, Anne, our facilities manager, is waiting and worried. She has no way to precisely know where they are and when they're going to arrive. Because of this, the production in the company is eventually delayed. Adam is not capable of providing a better quality of transportation services. And Joe, taking so long to commute, really wants to quit his job. But with Social Bus, Joe can relax and have a cup of coffee because our passenger app lets him know exactly when it's time to leave. Adam can communicate with Anne using our driver app, and our proprietary hardware is sending telemetry in real time, reducing the risk of problems along the way. And Anne can see their staff's location in our portal in real time, so she can plan ahead for their staff's travel time, avoiding production delays caused by accident. This is Social Bus, a platform for managing shuttle buses and vans in corporate mobility programs. We connect passengers, drivers, and companies into a single unified platform to provide travel time reduction and cost savings, all of that in real time. Should work. We have a SaaS business model with monthly payments, and our software has 2 different editions, a standard and a premium. We already have our company operating in Brazil. So for North American expansion, we plan to target the sectors of manufacturing, warehousing and transportation, and energy. And we estimate to be able to reach up to 2.2 million in ARR within 3 years of operation. By targeting users that work on these target sectors, live outside of urban centers, and already use some sort of private transportation to commute. Our competitors in this space are generally less affordable and also harder to implement and use than us. Our team is comprised of experienced entrepreneurs with years of experience in previous companies. I have 5 years working on transit in Brazil, public transit services. Guilherme has made his first exit in 2015, and Marcus, our CMO, has 25 years of experience in marketing. And we are